All right, all the Queensmen fans, this is the final episode of Season 1. Season 1, Episode 10, entitled Everybody versus Madam. Things come crumbling down when Tina gets in Doc's way, and Blue becomes the prime suspect. Red is not taking no for an answer and targets Dime and the club. Cat has had enough of Madam, and Amp pays the ultimate price. So this was a kind of a sloppy finale, if you ask me. I mean, I'll go into this more when I do my season 1 overview, pretty much giving my overall thoughts on all the Queensmen as a whole, for these 10 episodes. There are just a lot of things to consider. How different things would have been if Christian Keys had made the movie for all the Queensmen as opposed to making it a series, as Tyler Perry suggested. Not to mention, originally, I believe this season was supposed to only be 7 or 8 episodes, but it got extended to 10. This, I don't know. This really wasn't one of my favorite episodes of the season. I feel like, during the first portion of the season, maybe like the first few episodes, that's when I felt like the series was going somewhere, but things kind of got messy here. So without further ado, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe as we close in on 200,000 subscribers. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And hit the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. So, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of review things randomly because this episode does a lot of jump cuts where it goes from one scene to another. But, yeah, a lot of intelligence needed to be tested, if you will, because there were some decisions going on that had me questioning why people were doing what they were doing. For example, it seems like a bulk of this episode was really focusing on the fact that Madam realized, holy crap, my dad isn't, not as mentally absent or incapable as he led us to believe for a majority of this season. The fact that, her dad warns her that the FBI is coming for her. And I mean, I think this would have been great if Madam, of all people, was aware of her father's condition, or should I say lack thereof, early on in the season, whether it be in episode 1, where it was just her father and her at her sister's house. And this is before Amp came in there. I mean, the feds might have been listening in with cameras and microphones or something. So maybe from running water to covering the camera, just various ways to temporarily disable the ability for the man to watch what's going on. I mean, I think that her dad and Madam, Madam and her father having this kind of connection by knowing they're tricking the system together would have been great, because he would have been able to feed her information that would have been essential. It just seems like we're supposed to suspend our, what do they call it? Suspend your limitations of disbelief or something along those lines. So I just feel like there were a lot of things that would have been a great moment for, let's say, her dad to react to. So when the concierge kidnapped him a few episodes ago, what if then he revealed he isn't as senile and unable as he made people to believe? So there might have been maybe like a cool understanding between him and the concierge. Or perhaps the concierge could have used that as leverage, saying, well, hey, Madam, your father, who is pretending to be, mentally unable to stand trial and go back to jail, what if I told you that wasn't the truth? So it would have been an interesting form of blackmail. But no, I don't really understand the purpose of how that story was supposed to play out. But let's just say there were plenty of times where Madam should have rushed to the club, because a lot of things didn't really make any sense whatsoever. I mean, you got the VIP strippers going to the club, and when your boss isn't there, you're wondering, well, who's the substitute teacher? Who's the supervisor in charge? Madam isn't there to set things up. I mean, let's say if she was there at every single show and she wasn't there, yet let's say I walked in and, okay, my boss isn't here, but the lights are on, the music's going, drinks are being poured, but we're missing, Dime, we're missing Blue, we're missing Madam, who's running the show. But it's almost as if they didn't ask questions. The fact that Dime was actually beaten up and knocked out because Red actually tries to get Amp to put him on at the club, and I guess Amp tells him, he pretty much breaks it down the entire season from how uncomfortable Red has been making him feel from watching him sleep and dance and whatnot. But it's very weird how that turns out because Red goes into the club with a gun. This is just like the haves and the have-nots where Justin walked into that very enclosed restaurant area and he was drenched in gasoline and he had a gun on the table in his hand. Well, in his hand on the table, and yet nobody in the vicinity noticed anything. Like, hey, look, can we talk to one of the waiters or something to tell this guy to get out of here? He smells like gas. I mean, we get none of that. So Red goes into the club, and if I remember correctly, Dime got pistol whipped, and she conveniently got whipped so hard, or she fell so hard into the wall that it broke, revealing all the piles of cash, which is the money Blue had been warning Madam to move out of the club since like episode 1 or 2. So it's just one of those things where a lot of conveniences happen for the sake of moving the plot along when I think it could have been done a little bit more better. So we got Dime who's knocked out, and with the VIP strippers there, nobody's really asking questions like, where is Dime? It just reminds me of the Oval finale where Frida walked right back into the pharmacy after Dale got shot, 3 times by Vince. And, not only was she in close proximity to hear the gunshots, she didn't seem to like just, tippy toe and look to see that Dale was falling over, bleeding out because he had, allegedly gotten shot to death. So Red, with all that money, I guess, wrapped up, just walks out and nobody sees her. I guess when like the top dogs are there, everybody else's competency is severely dropped. So, yeah, I just don't understand what's going on here. So going back to Amp, this is another Jacoby situation where Jacoby, we get introduced to him on Sisters, and he seems like an okay guy. The most questionable thing was, what was his connection to Alonzo when it turned out that they kind of knew each other. But then all of a sudden you got Jacoby turning into this macho man asshole for the sake of making Calvin look better to Sabrina in comparison. And I feel like they did the same thing with Amp. I mean, when you think about it, a couple episodes ago, he told Don that, hey, I'm a stripper, but I have morals. I'm not going to give it up to any clients just for the sake of money. So it made it seem like he and Dime would take things slow. Between him getting back on his feet after getting out of jail and getting used to his new profession and not wanting to be a, male escort or anything. And then the fact that she revealed, hey, when I was kind of a rookie and I did like my first home service, like I went to somebody's house as a private dancer or whatever, almost got raped. And now all of a sudden Amp turns into this, it just goes back to what I said before, where it seems like some of the directors, writers, I don't feel like they have everything mapped out, because the characters can act consistently for maybe 3 or 4 episodes. But then when you get to like an episode 5, I'm just making up a number here, let's say episodes 2 through 3, we got a consistent, depiction of a character, where they're going, what their goals are, what their characteristics are. But then if another writer happens to write the very next episode, it's complete 180. So Amp pretty much goes to the, I don't know, just a place of, been in jail and I haven't really had any ass in a while. Can, let's give it up. So pretty much out of nowhere, he just acts like, a meathead, so to speak. And of course, Dom doesn't want to have anything to do with that. So it's almost as if we're in a situation where, if based on the events of the ending, if something happens to Amp, will Dime feel some sort of guilt, which should not be the case whatsoever, because of the fact that Amp pretty much is acting like an asshole here. I don't get that whatsoever. Okay, so going back to the club, since Dime wasn't there to get things situated, Trouble is the one to introduce everyone, and they get on, and again, Trouble just, has the money rolling in, the men do their thing, and, everything is running smoothly, even without Madam, which begs the question of, well, damn, it seems like maybe they've done the routine so many times, they really don't need Dime or Madam there, so long as the business is booming and bringing in the money, yeah, it is what it is. So I guess everybody was so preoccupied. That's why Red was able to just slip away with the money. Nobody questioned. Maybe it's because, well, Madam isn't here. I guess Dime isn't here either. So, let's not even worry about it. So, yeah, but let's, talk about some shootings here. Let's talk about Blue first. So Blue has the cleaner there, the same person, I believe, who cleaned up Alan after Madam killed him. You got the cleaner there taking care of the Tina situation, and that's very confusing in itself because the inconsistency of blood splatter, I've mentioned it before, how is Doc completely clean when Madam shot Alan right in front of him, and then he killed Tina, and then there's blood everywhere, but then the blood splatter doesn't really match the pattern of the trajectory of the bullet and this and that. It's just ridiculous. But I believe Blue kills the cleaner and rips off some of her own wardrobe to, I guess, persuade the cops or whoever comes to the scene that there was an attempted rape, because you have a naked Tina there dead, and then you have a ripped clothed Blue there, and then you have the dead cleaner. So it's like, I guess not Robin, but Blue tried to commit, self-defense. There are a lot of questions because Blue seemed to be very, very, very on top of things, yet this was the one time in the finale of all episodes to be off your game. So Madam, remember, this is everybody versus Madam. You got the feds looking for you, got all these people. So Madam, speaking of bullets that don't make sense, Madam shoots Amp, and it looked like there was an upward shot, meaning that, damn, that might have hit like his neck or head area, but he doesn't get shot there. And it's kind of random because remember on the Oval when Barry and Richard, we're talking like mid-season 1, early season 1, when Barry is parked out, on the sidewalk in front of somebody's house, on the street, because Picky gave him a bad address on where to find a Rackadoochie because he knew sending his cousin over there would be certain death. And this is before we knew who Picky really was, all right? So then Richard and he kind of tussle over the gun, and it goes off, and the bullet somehow not only manages to make like a downward angle going through the car door, but then somehow going back upward through an open window, murdering, like a deacon at a church, and that made no sense. So the magic bullet, I guess, I don't know. Then the lights flicker also. Madam didn't know, like she bust down the door, didn't know like who she was shooting at. But Amp aside, we got Kat showing up. And remember, this is the officer who's dating Blue. And, she comes in fed up because remember, it's everybody versus Madam. And she has the gun pulled out on Madam. But then Madam turns around and pulls out her gun, going on about how she's ready to die. Yet Kat decides to put her gun down, cry, and then run out. I mean, look, I ain't saying I want to see black people get shot. That's enough going on in real life. But if an officer has the gun and then the suspect or whoever pulls a gun out on them, I mean, I was surprised Madam wasn't killed right there. But, main character plot armor, I guess. This is just giving me so many Justin vibes here. So Blue's in prison. I mean, it's funny because you have how everybody's after Madam and everything's just falling apart. All of her lieutenants and whatnot are going down. And I'm thinking the whole time, be a real good time for the, the Black Rock Boys or whatever the hell the gang's name is to be involved in this somehow, but Madam's losing the people like at the club. You know, Dime is out, Blue's locked up, the strippers are dancing. She's lost the money. So Blue's in prison and her and Kat are going back and forth, and you would think with Kat somehow being like the only officer involved in the Madam investigation, nobody knew that one of their own were dating like the right hand woman of Madam. So I don't really know how that works. Then you have Doc and Madam talking for a bit. I think Madam just tells Doc, it's like, see, now we're on a whole different level in regards to like him, I guess you could say, stepping up and killing Tina. But when you really think about Doc, hasn't he created more problems than benefits to Madam throughout the series? Because remember his affair with Tina and Madam killing Alan to protect her talent is one of the main reasons most of the events of season 1 happened in the first place. So if anything, Doc has caused more troubles and woes for Madam than anything else. And I think Midnight makes like a smart remark about how Doc has the face of somebody that got somebody pregnant. And I'm just thinking, like, from Doc's perspective, he was about to get his nuts cut off and he just killed a person. So, I mean, having the girl knocked up would be one of the last things on my mind at that point. Sure, it was kind of relevant in regards to what Tina was planning to do to Doc, but either way, I'm just still... a lot of things feel out of place here. So it's kind of strange because with the investigation going on, you know, with Lola and Detective Davis, I was surprised they didn't really show up or do anything useful. And not to mention, wasn't Miss Tandy like the person of interest at the club that they were using as a way to kind of dig dirt on Madam? Not to say Tandy was an informant, but you never know in these kind of shows. It just seems with Madam being such a hazard, if you will, you know, why not go after Miss Tandy? It's like you're going right for the boss when you need to go for the not the main villain, but like the second next boss fight, if you will, just because of the fact that it seems like these people are unequipped to really take her down. It just seems so, I don't know. Okay, so I believe we go to Madam's father's orderly, who wonders if they're safe with the constant law enforcement showing up. You know, at some point something's got to give. I think because, you know, like the cameras or whatever went out, you had agents stopping by just to check in, and I don't know. Judge Ross apparently forgot about the fact that not only did she have video footage used against her with a stripper, as well as the drunk driving by Kat, she's basically in the courtroom for the criminal indictment of Madam, and that doesn't really apply to the fact that wasn't she supposed to be like a family court judge or somebody? So I don't know. When you look at these Tyler Perry shows, it goes without saying there's only one hospital, one cop of relevance. Like, we might see multiple police in a show, but there's really like one cop who's actually relevant. One judge, one courtroom. It's just ridiculous. So there's a lot of he said, she said. It seems like, I feel like where this finale kind of flopped, in my opinion, was there was a lot of build up for potential, you know, backstabbing, blackmail. But I think the episode didn't really deliver in the fact that it just seemed like a lot of the things that were worked towards, you know, like the effort put into blackmailing this person, getting this person in the pocket, this and that. It doesn't seem relevant for the sake of, oh wow, it's episode 10, so you have to make it seem like Madam is about to lose it all. But it just doesn't seem right, because it's like the ending of the Haves and the Have-Nots, where Candace gets killed, but it's like, well, what happened to Landon saying, oh, we got eyes on you, so we know your every move? But when Candace needed those eyes to really, you know, stop being like the Watcher in the Marvel What If series and step in to help, they weren't there, and then she lost everything because of it. The same thing here, where you have Madam, who's a part of a gang, you know, runs an entire group of people, a gang. You have all these eyes apparently watching her, And some of the key characters who should have been in the episode either weren't here or didn't play relevant roles. So I don't know. I think it could have been executed better. We'll just have to wait and see if there is a season 2, which I want to be honest here. I wouldn't doubt it if there is a season 2, because overall, despite the flaws, I think this is a popular show. I just don't know. I know this finale review, this is probably one of the longest reviews I've done since the premiere, but this episode kind of felt all over the place, and that's really not where you want to be in a finale, but that's just my opinion. So let me know your thoughts. I give this episode like maybe a 7 out of 10, and yeah. So if nothing else, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.